What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 6, Thursday Night Football.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon
so you don't miss our new videos.
Okay, in this video, I'm going to give you my top picks for the Thursday Night Football Showdown between the Tampa Bay Bucks and the Philadelphia Eagles. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Oh, and good news, guys. Make sure to stay tuned to the very end of this video because we removed the box that was popping up and blocking the lineup. So now you can see a full lineup using these picks that we made in this video if you stay to the very end. Okay, guys, NFL Week 6, we got a Thursday Night Football Showdown between the Tampa Bay Bucks and the Philadelphia Eagles. So let's take a look at the quarterback position. Okay, I like both quarterbacks on this slate. First off, you got Tom Brady from the Tampa Bay Bucks, and the Philadelphia Eagles have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. They're middle-of-the-pack defending opposing quarterbacks, and Tom Brady has averaged 27.3 fantasy points per game on the season. He gets an average of 1.8 rush attempt per game. He's going to be about 76% owned, projected at 22.1 fantasy points here tonight, and he's $16,500 DraftKings salary. Now, Vegas thinks there's going to be 52.5 points scored in this game, with the Bucks favored by 7. So Tom Brady is coming off of a ceiling game. He scored 38 fantasy points last week. We predicted that monster game. We know Tom Brady always bounces back after a poor performance, and he did just that. So now, coming off of a ceiling game, and I think he was limited in practice throughout the week, so I might shy away a little bit from Tom Brady, but of course, he can still put up a monster game. So I like Tom Brady here versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, the other quarterback you got is Jalen Hurts from the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Tampa Bay Bucks have the 9th worst defense overall, and they give up the 8th most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts has averaged 25 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 8.6 rush attempts per game, and he's going to be about 75% owned, projected at 22.4 fantasy points here tonight, and he's $15,500 DraftKings salary. So Vegas thinks that the Eagles are going to be trailing by 7, so this could be a passing game script for Jalen Hurts as he has to pass the ball and try to catch up with the Tampa Bay Bucks. He's got a better matchup, and he also has that rushing floor, so I think I might prefer to save a little bit of salary here. So I like Jalen Hurts here versus the Tampa Bay Bucks. Okay, let's take a look at the running back position. The top running back on the slate is Leonard Fournette from the Tampa Bay Bucks, and the Eagles have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. They give up the 12th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Leonard Fournette has averaged 11.5 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 11.2 rush attempts per game and 4.8 pass targets per game. He's on the field for 59% of the snaps. He got 12 rush attempts last game, 5 pass targets, scored 19 fantasy points. He's going to be about 32% owned, projected at 12.4 fantasy points here tonight. He's $11,000 DraftKings salary. So with Vegas thinking that the Tampa Bay Bucks are going to be leading this game, it could be a running game script. Leonard Fournette could get some extra touches in this one, so I think he's worth paying up for. So I like Leonard Fournette here versus the Philadelphia Eagles.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching.
If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal,
All you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won.
And we'll send you $25 PayPal.
So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Okay, now coming down just a little bit in salary, you got Miles Sanders from the Philadelphia Eagles and the Tampa Bay Bucks. They've got the 9th worst defense overall. They've been pretty good versus opposing running backs. And Miles Sanders has been awful so far this season, only averaging 8.5 fantasy points per game, getting an average of 9.6 rush attempts per game, and 3.8 pass targets per game. On the field for 66% of the snaps. He's going to be about 26% owned, projected at 10 fantasy points here tonight. And he's 10,000. I'm giving you guys the FanDuel salary. I apologize. Let me switch over to DraftKings and go back here to the single game. So sorry about that, guys. Let's go back to the quarterback. Tom Brady is 12,400 DraftKings salary. Jalen Hurts is 11,800 DraftKings salary. Let's go to the running backs. Leonard Fournette is 7,800 DraftKings salary. And Miles Sanders is 6,600 DraftKings salary. So sorry about that, guys. We're back on to DraftKings, so I'll be giving you the right salaries now. But the stats were all the same. And the matchups were the same. And the ownership, that wasn't the same. Let me give you the ownership real quick. The ownership for Tom Brady on DraftKings would be 69%, 66% for Jalen Hurts. The ownership for Leonard Fournette, 37%, and the ownership for Miles Sanders, 25%. So pretty similar to the ownership statistics or the ownership projections on FanDuel. But sorry guys, let's get back into this. Okay, so Miles Sanders, he has not done well this season, although he's performing a little bit better on DraftKings because of the point per reception, so averaging 10.1 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 10 fantasy points last game off of 11 rush attempts and 5 pass targets. So I just got a gut feeling that Miles Sanders is going to have a good game, a breakout game this game. I don't know what it is, but he just hasn't played well throughout the season. But we saw his volume increase last week from 6 touches to 10 touches, and then last week 16 touches. So I think they're trying to get Miles Sanders involved in this game, and he can catch passes out of the backfield. So I think he's going to have a pretty big game here. I think he's worth rolling the dice at 6,600 DraftKings salary. So I like Miles Sanders here versus the Tampa Bay Bucks. Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. The top wide receiver on the slate is Mike Evans from the Tampa Bay Bucks, and the Philadelphia Eagles. They're pretty good versus opposing wide receivers, but Mike Evans has averaged 19.7 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 9 pass targets per game. He's on the field for 84% of the snaps, and he's going to be about 43% owned, projected at 16.3 fantasy points here tonight. He's 10,200 DraftKings salary. So Chris Godwin was limited in practice, so I think Chris Godwin's going to be good to go, but that's going to make me lean towards Mike Evans just a little bit more. He's about $800 more than Chris Godwin, but I think he's worth that extra salary. So I like Mike Evans here versus the Philadelphia Eagles.
Real quick guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. Our NBA tools are awesome. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate.
No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, now for the Philadelphia Eagles, the top wide receiver you're looking at is Devonta Smith. And the Tampa Bay Bucks, they give up the third most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. So Devonta Smith, he's averaged 13.3 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 8 pass targets per game. He's been on the field for 91% of the snaps. He's going to be about 38% owned, projected at 14.5 fantasy points here tonight. He's 8,800 DraftKings salary. So with the Eagles looking like they're going to be trailing in this game and a great matchup here, I think Devonta Smith, he could get a ton of pass targets in this one. He could work his way into double-digit pass targets. So I think this is the Eagles wide receiver to own in this game. So I like Devonta Smith here versus the Tampa Bay Bucks. Okay, now, if you want to save a little bit of salary, take a look at Antonio Brown from the Tampa Bay Bucks. He's averaging 19.3 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 7.3 pass targets per game. He's going to be about 40% owned, projected at 14.3 fantasy points here tonight. He's 8,200 DraftKings salary, and Tom Brady just loves Antonio Brown. Although he's not on the field as much as Mike Evans or Chris Godwin, he's getting plenty of pass targets, and he's been a great wide receiver for Tom Brady. Seems like those two have some sort of connection. He goes to Antonio Brown when he needs a play. Tons of pass targets. So I like Antonio Brown here versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, now if you want to save some salary at the wide receiver position, take a look at Jalen Reagor from the Philadelphia Eagles. We know the Tampa Bay Bucks give up the third most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. So I think I'm going to play two wide receivers from the Eagles, Devonta Smith and Jalen Reagor. And Jalen Reagor, he's averaged 7.6 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 5 pass targets per game. He's on the field for 73% of the snaps. He's going to be about 20% owned, projected at 8.9 fantasy points here tonight. He's 5,000 DraftKings salary. So Jalen Reagor, he got 5 pass targets last game, only scored 5 fantasy points, but he's getting the opportunity, and he's in a good matchup here in what could be a passing game script. So I like Jalen Reagor here versus the Tampa Bay Bucks. Now it's kind of a coin flip between Jalen Reagor and Quez Watkins. So if you're looking to save just a little more salary at the wide receiver position, take a look at Quez Watkins from the Philadelphia Eagles. He's averaged 8.5 fantasy points per game on the season. He's not getting as many pass targets as Jalen Reagor, only averaging 3.4 pass targets per game on the season. He's on the field for 61% of the snaps, opposed to Jalen Reagor at 73% of the snaps. But because he's a little bit less salary here, he's going to be about 22% owned, projected at 7.5 fantasy points here tonight. So again, it's a coin flip between Jalen Reagor and Quez Watkins. I prefer Jalen Reagor, but just don't forget about this guy. So I like Quez Watkins here versus the Tampa Bay Bucks. Okay, moving on to the tight end position, I like Zach Ertz from the Philadelphia Eagles playing the Tampa Bay Bucks, and they give up the 8th most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Zach Ertz has averaged 7.2 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 5 pass targets per game. He's on the field for 56% of the snaps. He's going to be about 21% owned, projected at 10.5 fantasy points here tonight. He's only 3,200 DraftKings salary. So I don't know why they're not giving Zach Ertz any love. Well, I do know why. He hasn't played well for a while, but he's picking it up. He got 7, 8, and 6 pass targets in the last 3 games, scoring 15, 12 and 2 fantasy points. So bad game last week, but he put in a couple of good efforts there with the 15 and 12 fantasy points in a good matchup in a passing game script for only $3,200 DraftKings salary. Zach Ertz might be my favorite play on the slate. Now, it's hard to say that, but I think that Zach Ertz is kind of finding himself. I think they're going to get him involved in this game. They're going to need him catching passes to keep up with the Bucs. So I like Zach Ertz here versus the Tampa Bay Bucs. Now, for the Tampa Bay Bucs, at the tight end position, no Gronkowski here tonight. So it's going to be a coin flip between Cameron Brate and OJ Howard. But what I like about OJ Howard is he's only $1,400 DraftKings salary versus Cameron Brate, who's $4,800 DraftKings salary. So Cameron Brate got 1 pass target last week. OJ Howard got 3 pass targets last week. They're both going to be about 13-14% owned. Their stats are pretty similar across the board. OJ Howard, I think for $1,400 DraftKings salary, I think he's worth taking a shot on. This is the high risk, high reward play. He could go out there and give you a donut or just put up a couple points with 1 pass reception for 20 yards or 10 yards, only get you a couple fantasy points. But he's only $1,400 DraftKings salary. So if he does manage to find the end zone, you're going to be looking pretty good with the rest of your lineup being able to stack those studs. So I like OJ Howard here versus the Philadelphia Eagles.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smickety smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NFL slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.